Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, or if it's your first time, welcome. My name is Liv and today we are going to do a brush declutter. I was gonna film a completely different video today. I was gonna film a video about these like Amazon lip liners that I bought, and then I was looking at them and I was like, these are just fine lip liners. Like, it wasn't gonna be like a funny fail video. It wasn't gonna be like a rave review. It was just like, I got some fine lip liners. And that just seemed kind of boring. So I was looking at my vanity and I saw the disaster that is my brush collection, and I was like, today's the day. We are gonna go through this baby. As a fun little sneak peek, I do have a makeup storage video coming up, which is kind of what inspired me to do this, because I was looking at my makeup storage and I'm still kind of working out the kinks of where I want to store things, and one thing that I definitely need to figure out is how I am going to store my brushes, and I can't really figure that out until I narrow down the brush collection. So currently, I store my brushes in these glass jars. As you can see, I really thought this through. They still have the sticker on them. They're from IKEA, but I thought they were just kind of cute on my vanity. I made it really easy for me to see what I was grabbing. I have 3 of these and they are all overflowing to the point where I can't even fit all of my brushes in there anymore. And that's just crazy, especially considering I don't do like a full eyeshadow look every day. I really only use like 3 or 4 brushes on a daily basis. So yeah, it's time. Also, speaking of full eye makeup looks, do you guys like this? How are we feeling? I'm gonna post a picture on my Instagram, so I guess by the time this video comes out, that picture will have been up for like a week or so. But it's a little intense for a Sunday morning. It's like 10 a.m. right now and I've got this full glam going. I don't usually go for like pinks and purples, so I'm curious to hear what you guys think, because I'm not quite sure about it. I have this yellow on the inner corners here, and when I first put it on, it looked like super bright and awesome, but then I feel like it got darker and now it might just look like a weird shadow. I don't know. Okay, I'm totally rambling. Let's get into these brushes. So real talk, you guys, I'm just gonna grab handfuls of brushes because there is no rhyme or reason to the way these are organized right now. I've got a box on my right for brushes that I'm gonna keep. I got a bag on my left for brushes that I am going to get rid of. And yeah, let's go from there. So the first thing I have is this e.l.f. Professional Total Face Brush. I have probably had this for like 2 years and I use it every single day to put powder on my face. It is a really good brush. It's not shedding or anything like that. I do wish it was a little bit fluffier, but like for an e.l.f. face brush, this is awesome. So obviously gonna keep that. Then I've got this set that will probably come up throughout this video. I mean, I know it will. It's from a Sephora set that I got for like 60 bucks, where I got like 12 different brushes. And I found these to be really high quality as well. So this is a precision shadow brush. I'm gonna keep that. Here is a very similar brush actually that is from Morphe. I like to have a few precision shadow brushes. As you can see, I used this pink one today. The brush isn't pink, the eyeshadow is pink. So I'm gonna hang on to this one because the Morphe ones are really good quality. And same with this Scone blending brush that I think I got an Ipsy or BoxyCharm maybe. Just a really good blending brush. It looks like a, there's like an Anastasia blending brush maybe, or some other bougie brand. And they have a brush that looks exactly like this. And every time I see someone using it, I'm like, I have the cheap version. Oh, that one fell on the floor. Okay, one sec. Okay, so let's just grab another handful here. So this is from that same Sephora set, and it is one of those like brow comby lash comb things. I don't know what you're supposed to do with this, to be perfectly honest, but I never ever use it. What is it called? Brow comb slash brow. No, that's not happening. Okay. Here is a Luxie 514 blush brush. It feels like it's falling apart a little bit. Like, can you hear this? There's no way you can hear that. This metal part here is coming loose a little bit, so I'm going to hang on to it for now, but it probably won't last that much longer. It's a pretty good blush brush though. This is an e.l.f. concealer brush. It's so tiny, but it's perfect. I use it to sculpt out the bottom of my brows. Awesome. This is an Aesthetica age 22 brush. I just don't know what I'm supposed to use it for. Is this for, I mean, it's too big for highlight. Like, is it for sweeping away bake? It's too small to powder your whole face. Is it for blush? I don't know. I don't know. And it was bent when it came in my BoxyCharm and it's been bent ever since. And yeah, no, this has gotta go. Okay, this is a Coastal Scents BRB SO2. It's kind of like a flat, fluffy brush. It's stained, which is a shame because it was white at one point, but I really do like this for like packing on some shadows on the outer edge of the eye, so I'm gonna keep this one. Here's another Luxie. It is a precision foundation brush. I don't really use foundation brushes to begin with, and this to me doesn't feel precise enough to be a precision foundation brush. It's quite fluffy. I don't use this at all, so this is gonna go. Then we've got this from that Sephora set, a small contour brush. I exclusively use this for applying my highlight and I love it. Gotta keep that. Here's an e.l.f. Flawless Concealer brush. Way too big for concealer for me, but I use it to set under my eyes with the e.l.f. Under Eye Setting Powder. Awesome combo. Ooh, here's a Pure Cosmetics Blurring Concealer brush. I actually took this with me on my last like long trip that I did, and I used it to blend out my concealer every day, and it worked quite well. I haven't used this for a while, so I am going to hang on to it and maybe I'll like reintroduce it to my routine. Maybe it'll make it in my travel bag again, like who knows. Okay, here is a NYX brow brush. So it's got the spoolie on one end and the little tiny little thin angled brush on the other end for drawing in your brows. This like spoolie just attracts stuff. Like it always feels kind of gross, I don't know, but it's a good brow brush. I'm gonna hang on to it because I think I lost my Brow Gal one, which is like infinitely better. So if I find my Brow Gal one, this is gonna go. So I'm gonna put this in front of me just in case that turns up. Okay, this has no branding. It's just a flat pink shadow brush, and I just have so many like this that this can go. Okie doke. Here's some eyeliner, so that doesn't need to be there. Here is a Morphe brush. These are all my Morphe brushes are from the Eye Credible set. I really like this one. It desperately needs to be cleaned. I used it today. As you can see, the colors are complementary. This is just a great fluffy blending brush. Okay, so this is a Bare Minerals Perfecting Face Brush, which you're supposed to use for like foundation. Like I said, not big on foundation brushes. This has like a little well in the center of it. What did I use this for the other day? I used this to blend out a cream bronzer the other day, and I actually really liked it. So we're gonna hang on to it to see if it can be repurposed as a bronzer brush, but not for foundation for me. What else have I got here? Okay, so here is a Royal & Langnickel Omnia detail brush. I love using this for smudging liner or shadow under the lower lash line. It's like nice and densely packed. Awesome, I use that constantly. This is probably from an eyeshadow palette, I'm guessing. No branding, just a flat shadow brush. I know I already kept two of these, so I'm gonna put this in front of me in case I find any better ones, because that's just like a fine shadow brush, so maybe if I find a better one, I will toss that. This is a Morphe brush. Again, it's like a really small flat brush. I use it to apply this yellow on my inner corners today. This is my go-to inner corner highlighting brush. It's just so small and precise. You can really get in there. Love this. Totally keeping it. Here's another one from that Morphe set. Honestly, I'm probably not going to show the rest of the Morphe brushes because I think I'm keeping all of them. So just assume that I have the whole Morphe Eye Credible set. But I will let you know if I decide to get rid of any of them. Aha! I'm getting rid of one of the Morphe brushes. That was fast. This is the brow brush from that Eye Credible set, and the angled brush for drawing in your brows is so thick. I can't work with it, so this is basically useless to me. This is going. So this is a flat brush that came in the BoxyCharm that had the Winky Lux Kitten palette. There were also some brushes with it. Honestly, I hated almost all those brushes, so you guys will see me get rid of the other ones, but this is a really good flat brush that I love to use for carving out under my brows, usually when I can't find that e.l.f. concealer brush, so I'm gonna keep this one. And here's the Crown and BoxyCharm Face Blending Brush. I talked about this in my 10 best BoxyCharm products of 2017. I just absolutely love this thing. I use it almost every day for my primer at the moment. So good. So this is a double-ended brush from the Smashbox Full Exposure palette. It's got like a flat shadow brush on one end and then a more rounded smudger looking brush on the other end. I use this rounded smudger end all the time, but I think I have some similar ones. So I am going to put this one aside and make a judgment on that later. My Moda Pro blush brush, also in that BoxyCharm video. Use it every single day. No more needs to be said. I'm absolutely keeping this. This is a more recent BoxyCharm one. It is a crown brush. I think it is a blush brush. I haven't been able to find a use for this. It's too small for blush for me. Like, it's a little too targeted. I like my blush to be a little bit more spread out on my face. I don't have anything else to use it for. It's not dense enough for foundation. This one's gonna go. This is my Juno & Co. Contour Me In brush that I talked about in my Juno & Co. video. I use this thing every single day for my bronzer. Oh my god, it's amazing. So next month I am going to buy every brush that I can find on the Juno & Co website and review them for you guys, because if they're anywhere near as good as this, wow, that would be an amazing find. Guys, I found my Brow Gal brush. Okay, well, that's settled. The Brow Gal brow brush is staying and the NYX one is going. This is a Sephora powder brush. I'm keeping this because it's just like really soft, and sometimes I use this to apply powder. I will sometimes use it to apply bronzer or to blend out my bronzer. That's mostly what I use this for, to be honest. If I use a bronzer brush that gets like a little too intense, a little too harsh, this is like thin enough that it doesn't spread bronzer all over my face, but it will blend it out quite nicely. This is a Sephora smudge brush, pretty similar to the Royal & Langnickel brush that I kept earlier, but I like to have two of these handy because, like, I don't wash my brushes all the time. And so sometimes one of them is dirty, like this one is blue right now. So it's good to have two. Oh, here's another eyeliner. Okay, well, it's good to know that my eyeliners have been ending up in here. I'm worried there's gonna be more. Maybe I don't even have that many brushes. So this is another palette brush. It's from a Revolution Pro palette. It has this fluffy kind of rounded brush on one end. The other end is just like a plain shadow brush. Don't use the shadow brush side, but I actually find that this little thin rounded tip is really good for blending out underneath the eyes. So I'm gonna hang on to this. So this is just like a plain fluffy brush, and I was totally about to say how I was gonna keep it, but it's got this like weird clump in it that I can't pick out. That's gross. So I guess we'll get rid of this. I don't know. I didn't even know that was there. That's kind of disturbing. This is the e.l.f. foundation blurring brush. I love this thing. I use it to blur out my foundation, especially if I'm wearing a stick foundation. This is so good. Lives in my travel bag. Awesome. And this is a Royal & Langnickel Omnia shader brush. Not a shader brush for me. It's huge, like super thick and fluffy, but I like to use it with a smoky eye if I'm like packing a lot of shadow onto the outer half of the lid. I said that exact same thing about another brush, but you know what? It's fine. Okay, I would have said the exact same thing about this brush that I just said about that Royal & Langnickel brush. It is a Sephora blending shadow brush. So I'm gonna get rid of this one. This is a Moda Pro crease brush. I love it. It's such a good crease brush. Definitely keeping it. Here's one of those weird Winky Lux brushes, or Luxie. Were they not Winky Lux branded? Maybe they just came at the same time. I don't know. This is the 227T brush. It's like kind of a fluffy brush. This didn't do anything for me. It just pushed shadow around. It didn't blend it out. No good. And here is my Crown Jumbo Kabuki fan brush. Until I got my Juno & Co brush, this was my everyday bronzer brush, and I still do use it occasionally. Can't get rid of this. I love this thing. Oh, it's time. This is my Ulta angled foundation brush. For a hot second, I thought I was gonna be into foundation brushes, and if you guys watched my ways to choose the right makeup for you video, you'll know that one of my like philosophies is that I always start cheap if I'm picking up a new product, and that also applies to brushes. So if I'm trying a new kind of brush, I always get a cheap version first. So I picked up this cheap Ulta angled foundation brush, and it's bad. I don't know if you can see, the hairs are like falling out, and this just didn't work for me. This is a fan brush. It is from that Sephora set. I don't have any other fan brushes to compare it to, so I don't even know if this is a good fan brush, but it works for me, so I'm gonna keep this one. This is a ColourPop flat shadow brush. I don't know if it's the small or large one. It seems pretty medium sized to me, to be honest. This is really good. It desperately needs to be cleaned, and that's what I'm about to do after I film this, but definitely hanging on to this one. This is an Ulta concealer brush, and I mean, I'm not really big on brushes for concealer to begin with, but this is just so big. I guess I use this sometimes for applying cream contour. Yes, that is what I use it for. Okay, I'm gonna hang on to it for that, but I don't use it for concealer ever. Here's a brush from the Morphe Eye Credible set that I'm getting rid of. It's like a flat top, pretty thin little brush. It's too thick to use for liner. Also, it's not angled, so it's kind of hard to use for liner. I thought this would kind of mimic almost like a finger when you like dip it into a shadow and it comes off really pigmented, but it doesn't do that. It doesn't pick up a lot of pigment. It doesn't apply anything particularly great, so I'm gonna toss this one. So this is an e.l.f. lip brush, and I think I ruined this by accident using that jelly peel off lip tint thing from the Juno & Co videos, so I'm gonna toss it. I mean, it was e.l.f., it was cheap, but like, it was a perfectly good lip brush until I ruined it. This is an angled liner brush from Sephora. I don't usually apply my eyeliner like with an angled brush, but if I do, this one works pretty well. This is an e.l.f. angled contour brush. I use this for blending out my crease. I love the angle. It gets really nicely like inside the crease of my eye, not inside, that sounds gross, but it does a really good job blending shadow up as high as I need it to go, basically, especially if you have hooded eyes and you know that angle is pretty extreme in your eye socket. So love this guy. Okay, the last brush we're going to talk about here is the Carity F24 bronzer brush. I bought this when I bought my Carity Smoky palette, which is what I used on my eyes today, if you're curious. And I thought that I would be able to like get a really nice, intense, precise bronzer application with this, and I just don't know how to use it. I tried it with cream contour, it was really streaky. I tried it with powder bronzer, it was chunky. It doesn't work for me. I'm sorry, I really wanted it to work, but this is a no-go for me. Okay guys, so we have pared the brush collection down to this, which is still a lot of brushes. I'm not gonna pretend it's not, but it's definitely a step in the right direction. And like I said, I'm buying more brushes next month, so I gotta make room. I'm probably not gonna redo my brush storage before I do my makeup collection video, to be honest. I am moving in a couple months, so I'm gonna be completely redoing my makeup setup then. So yeah, so you'll see these jars of brushes in that video, which should be coming up in a couple weeks. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead and give it a thumbs up for me, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel for new videos every Monday and Friday. I don't know why I just did that with my hands. You can also follow me on Instagram or Twitter. Both of those are at livgraceface. I hope you guys are having an awesome week, and I will talk to you in my next video. Bye!